Mr. Isah, before we went on that break, you made a case for Senator Osita Izunazo. We will get back there. But this uproar generated by the decision of APC to nominate candidates for positions is yet to die down. What do you think is the way forward?
We believe in the capacity of the President and Commander-in-Chief. He is a Democrat. He is a man who has shown capacity over the years. We are very sure that it will be revisited, and the best man for the job will be adopted. And that best man, like I said, is Senator Izunaso Osita. Because he's the cleanest. Everything I say is in the media. Unlike the other candidates, he is the only candidate who has been in leadership positions since 1999 till date without any accusation of diversion of funds. So he remains the cleanest, the most competent. And as such, we know the president knows him, and he will ensure that he works with the best man so that this country can move forward.
So what do you think is the way forward? What is the way forward?
The way forward is for the senators-elect and the leadership of APC, also with the senators-elect from the opposition political parties, to ensure that the best man emerges as the Senate President, also the best man emerges as the Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives. It is clear that all of those aspiring have antecedents. Two of those aspiring for Senate President were governors in their respective states. Yari was a governor between 2011 and 2015. Zamfara State, where he governed, is among the states that the National Bureau of Statistics said is among the poorest states. And it is known to all Nigerians, the affluence of Yari. We do not need people, not only the affluence, which he displays, coming from a state where over 70% of the indigents of his state are extremely poor. Now, we do not need such a man as president of the Senate.
Once again,
important thing we need to put into consideration.
Mr. Isah, kindly listen to me. Please, once again, I would like you to focus on issues and not attack personalities. All right, so in the absence of consensus before next week, do you consider throwing the contest open for aspirants as the best option?
Yes. Throwing the contest open will be the best. It will be an alternative. But the best thing will be the adoption of Senator Izunaso, because of reasons which I have stated some. Because among those aspiring, he is the highest ranking senator. He is the most experienced, the most humble, and the most prepared for the job, the cleanest among them. With all of this, I think the best thing to be done, and the best thing for the party, is to adopt Senator Izunaso to ensure that the people of the Southeast are placated so that they will feel and also appreciate the fact that there's not a gang up against them. Because the way it is now, if the Southeast is left like that, anybody from that region will feel there is a gang up against them. And that is what we do not want, because we need unity to be able to move forward. There's something very important I need to state. We all know that the president is a Muslim. The vice president is a Muslim. If we allow the North to produce the Senate president, it means the Senate president will be a Muslim. And it is most likely that the Speaker is going to be a Muslim. Also, the Chief Justice of the Federation is a Muslim. We need to understand something. I, being a Muslim, I know that Islam recognizes and appreciates good Christians, as stated in the glorious Quran. in chapter 5, verse 82.
I understand your preference. But your part, the APC has nominated some candidates. So I'm asking, in the absence of consensus before next week, do you consider throwing the contest open for aspirants as the best option? Do you think it's the best option?
It is an alternative, but the best option remains the adoption of Senator Izunaso. In the absence of that, then the contest can be thrown open. And we also believe the senators-elect will do the needful and ensure that Senator Izunaso is elected as the president of the Senate.
All right. Now, the president met with members-elect, and he has urged them to vote for their own leader. What impact do you think this will have on the race?
Come again?
The president met with senators-elect, members-elect, and he has urged them to vote for their own leader. What impact do you think this will have on the race?
What we are saying, we are talking about national unity. We are talking about the progress of our dear country. The interest of our country should be most paramount to any senator-elect or member-elect, not party interest or any other affiliation.
All right. Now, one of the senators, and that's Ali Ndume, insists that Akpabio is on course to emerge as the next Senate president, with 75 members backing him already. Now, do you agree with this, and do you see that playing out next week?
Distinguished Senator Ndume also said that they are supporting Akpabio because it's the position of the party. But I want to remind him that in 2019, he went against the decision of the party and the decision of the then President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So he has been consistently inconsistent. With that, we can say that there are no such number of senators supporting Senator Akpabio. To the best of my knowledge, I had the rare privilege of meeting a senator-elect in Transcorp. In the course of our discussion, I spoke to him and tried to convince him of the need to elect the most competent, which is Senator Izunaso. He told me that Izunaso is my friend, and we are all supporting him. He is a senator from one of the opposition political parties. So with the numbers and the discussion I had with him, I know the number of senators supporting Senator Izunaso is far more than the number of senators supporting any other candidate. But what we are appealing is for the party to adopt Senator Izunaso, not because we are very optimistic, because we know the senators that are supporting him are far more than the senators supporting any other candidate.
How many senators are supporting him?
I can't say the number because I do not attend their meetings. I only meet with them individually. And those I have met did say to me that we know that Izunaso remains the most competent and most prepared for the job. And as such, we are giving him our vote. And this has happened on several occasions in Transcorp when I do go to visit some of the senators-elect. And that gives me a lot of joy because I have come to realize that we have responsible and honorable men and women elected as senators of the Federal Republic.
All right, so the likes of Senators Yari, Kalu, and Izunaso have refused to dropped out of the race. And I thought that the party should be supreme. Why have they found it hard to follow the party's guidelines?
Yes, the party is supreme. You will also recall that the leadership of the party said that they are going to review the adoption. And because of that, they have indirectly given them the go-ahead to continue to lobby senators-elect before the final decision. The adoption of Akpabio is not the final decision of the party. And it's also not the decision of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It still remains speculation as at this moment. The final decision will be made known. And we are optimistic that the party and the President will adopt Senator Izunaso.
All right. So some people say the President should have used this meeting with the newly elected National Assembly members to canvass for the candidate of his choice. Do you agree that the President should have made his preference known to the generality of lawmakers?
You are just confirming my statement. If Akpabio was the consensus candidate, the President, being a true Democrat, would have done that to canvass for Akpabio. But he never did that because he knows that Akpabio is not the consensus candidate. And we appreciate the President for that. And we'll continue to pray for him, for God's guidance.
Well, you say Senator Izunazo has a lot of senators backing him, but it is also said that Senator-elect Abdulaziz Yari has been gaining ground rapidly in the last 2 weeks. Is this true? And if this is true, what is responsible for this?
These are all speculations. No candidate, as of today, has the number of senators-elect like Senator Izunaso. I don't want to sound in a way that some persons will feel insulted. The camp of Senator Yari is receiving visitors, not necessarily senators-elect. People are trooping in to meet with him because he is the richest, one of the richest senators elected as of today. And people will always want to get whatever they can get from him. But when it comes to the real voting, they will vote their conscience and vote the person that will ensure checks and balances in the 10th Assembly.
So are you saying there are speculations because he's not your preferred candidate for the position?
I want to let you know that I am a Northerner. And I will always defend the interest of the North. But at this moment, the interest of the country supersedes the interest of the region where I come from. I am not supporting Yari. And I will also meet with my wife and children to consider renouncing my citizenship in the unlikely event that that Yari emerges as the Senate President.
All right. Now, some people like Senators Izunazo and Orji Uzor obviously still in the race. And now, don't you think it will damage their chances if one of them doesn't step down for the other?
Senator Orji Uzor, knowing fully well that Senator Izunazo is the highest ranking senator from the South-South and the Southeast, will definitely step down for Izunaso. We are optimistic because we see him as a leader who wants the country to move forward, and he will not want to do anything to jeopardize the chances of Southeast.
Why do you think he should step down? Or are you having a conversation with him already?
No. I want to believe that he will do the right thing. Having served as governor of a state in the Southeast, he will not do anything to jeopardize. We are talking about jeopardizing the chances of Southeast, and also we are talking about the interest of the country. And the interest of the country at this moment is the most prepared and most competent man for the job. He knows that Senator Izunaso was in the Senate before him, was in the National Assembly before him. As far back as 2003, Izunaso was in the National Assembly. He was chief press secretary. All of these experiences, when it comes to the National Assembly, Senator Izunaso is ahead of Senator Orji Uzor. But when you talk about the executive position, then you can give it to Orji Uzor. But so we are talking about the institution of the Senate, and that's why we believe that he will do the right thing. And the right thing is for him to speak to all those who are supporting him, to give their support to Senator Izunaso.
All right, so in the last 20, 25 minutes, you've been campaigning so hard for Senator Izunazo, but there are those who say the Southeast's desire to clinch the Senate presidency is not helped by APC's poor performance in that region. Do you agree?
Not really. APC couldn't have performed better in the last election in the Southeast because Southeast in the last administration was completely marginalized. Politics is give and take. I do not even understand how they were able to get the votes they got for the party. Don't forget that others from Northwest, Southwest, had certain positions going for them. When they were going for campaigns, usually when you go for campaign and you have elected officials or you have people with certain positions, it helps you. It makes a lot of people to support your party because they know that region is well represented. But Southeast was not represented at all. They had nobody within the security agency, I mean at the top. They had no vice president. They had not produced the president. So how do you expect them to perform better? So that was the reason they couldn't. They have done well. The votes they brought relatively is okay.
Okay, so if you agree that the Southeast did not perform well, why do you think it is not right for the APC to reward the South-South for performing better?
I said relatively, they have performed well, in the sense that they had no positions. They were like orphans in the party. How do you expect their people to vote for the same party? The South-South did not perform well. They had the deputy Senate president. They had the minister for petroleum. The minister of petroleum, that ministry in the local palace is a juicy ministry. The Southeast cannot boast of all of these things. So relatively, the Southeast did well. Don't forget, they had P2B contesting. And because of the marginalization, the people of the Southeast felt the best thing would be for them to vote for their own. And that was the reason why APC recorded low votes in the Southeast. So the reason is justifiable.
All right, so some people have argued that based on this, they shouldn't even get anything from the current administration.
Based on this, it is the reason mind you, the president and commander-in-chief is a true Democrat and a man who wants to move the entire country forward. Now, if you want the agitation in the Southeast to stop, you need a man like Izunaso as Senate president. I can assure you and Nigerians that in the event that Senator Izunaso emerges as the Senate president, he will be able to sit down with the youths and those agitating in the Southeast to talk to them, to stop the agitation. And stopping the agitation is what we desire in order to move this country forward. And that is the reason why we are asking and praying that Senator Izunaso emerges as the Senate president, so that the agitation in the Southeast can be stopped. They need somebody they have confidence in to be able to speak to them. If he doesn't get the position, he will not be able to stand with authority to call them and plead with them to stop the agitation. The agitation is as a result of the marginalization. So if you continue to marginalize them, then you are throwing the country into further confusion. Because if there's confusion in the Southeast, automatically there will be confusion in other parts of the country. And that is what we want to avoid.
All right, so you're saying the deputy speakership position is not enough to do this magic?
No. The truth is that giving the deputy speakership position to the Southeast is insulting the sensibility of the Southeast.
All right, so the APC hierarchy promised to look into the situation through adequate consultation, but nothing in that regard yet. With a few days to the inauguration of the incoming assembly, what does this tell us?
There is high hope. The leadership is having a series of meetings. And before Tuesday, there will be a pronouncement. We are optimistic, we are hopeful that the adoption will be favorable to us.
All right, Mr. Isah, how do you assess the president so far? Are you convinced he will live up to his promises?
The president has been able to do wonderfully well. Most Nigerians across party lines are happy with all the steps the president has taken so far. He assented to the electricity bill, which will now give private companies to be able to generate electricity. He has been working in a way that seems he is younger than 40 years. So we are happy, Nigerians are happy. The only thing left for Mr. President to do is to ensure that Southeast gets the Senate president. That is the only thing left for now. And we know with the way he has started, that will also be achieved.
All right. Do you support the subsidy removal?
I 100% support the subsidy removal, but with a caveat. Certain things should be done to cushion the effect. The subsidy removal by the president shows his leadership capacity. Billions of naira have been wasted over the years, pocketed by some Nigerians in the name of subsidy. Now the true number of liters we consume per day is about to be known. This is because of the leadership capacity of the president. And we will continue to pray for him.
All right. So how will you advise the president to turn things around in the country?
He should continue in the same direction which he has started. He should also ensure the spread of political positions, just like he has done. He took the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation to North Central and gave it to a man deserving of that position. And a man respected by Nigerians was also appointed as the Chief of Staff. That is Gbajabiamila. So Nigerians are happy. All of these appointments that he has made so far shows his capacity to perform as a leader.
All right, so let's quickly talk about insecurity. With some of the steps he has taken so far, how confident are you in his ability to tackle insecurity head on?
On this, I will advise the president. One of the major reasons why insecurity has continued is because of the amount of money, allegedly, the heads of the various security agencies are making. There should be a political will. He needs to stamp his authority and investigate the heads of the various security agencies to ensure that they do not in any way continue to make the insecurity to promote the insecurity so as to get increased budgetary provision. That is one aspect the president needs to look into. That is one of the major reasons why insecurity has continued. But with his leadership style, with the energy which he has put into office, we are hopeful that the heads of the various security agencies have gotten the signal that it is not going to be business as usual.
All All right, so related to insecurity is youth unemployment. How do you think the president should address this as part of issues relating to insecurity, especially in the north?
The president needs to ensure that all the children go back to school. He needs to fund education. There is a level an educated mind will never descend to. But if people are left without the necessary education and guidance, of course, all of these crimes will continue. The president should stamp his authority. I keep on repeating this word. There is no way we should allow people to give birth to children and throw them in the street. They will constitute nuisance and continue to increase the insecurity. Something needs to be done. Leaders have to be called to sit down on a round table and told the truth so that this does not continue. The most important thing will be to fund education. There's one aspect which we are not really looking at, which is the primary and secondary education. I've had the privilege of taking my time to meet with students from secondary school. I realized something very painful, which is a good number of students in secondary school don't study. They depend on cheating to pass their examination. If this is allowed to continue, it means in the nearest future, we cannot have qualified doctors. We cannot have qualified engineers. So the president needs to look into this. This is very serious.
All right. Thank you very much. I've been speaking with Atiku Abubakar Isah, public affairs analyst and former state secretary, youth leader of the defunct ANPP in Kogi State. Tonight we discuss the battle for the Senate presidency and matters arising. Thank you very much, Mr. Isah, for coming on the program tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.